Hi, my name is Ariel from the Children of Karma, and today I'd like to discuss Moon and Jupiter aspects. Both of these planets are life-giving, but from opposite perspectives, from a feminine and a masculine perspective. The Moon being more feminine, the yin versus the yang, day versus night, and even hot versus cool. So they're coming at life from a different perspective. Zeus was associated with Jupiter and he spread his seed. And the moon is a fast mover. You know, it moves around the chart the fastest. So it allows for some of those slower planets like Jupiter, which doesn't make a lot of aspects on its own because it's a slow mover. The moon will be the one going around the fastest, kind of allowing that planet even to have an expression of self on a regular basis. And it's interesting to also look at where they're exalted. Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer. Cancer is the moon's home. And they're both in either detriment or fall in Capricorn. So this means they don't like the structure. You know, they don't like this rigidness, the rules. They need flexibility because they're learning. They're learning well into the past, learning about cycles, you know, how the past influences the present and therefore the future, and maybe learning how to break those patterns. They're thinking about philosophies, so they need to be free and flexible when they're doing these things. So they don't like the sign of Capricorn. This aspect is a traveler, an educator, someone who learns many different languages or cultures, a body spirituality even. It's interesting, if moon is in superior aspect to Jupiter, potentially the moon has a heavier dominance over Jupiter through this aspect, through being in a superior place to Jupiter. That could mean that the moon, depending on even what element it is, what sign it is, that will determine the intentions of this person's Jupiter, the philosophy of this person, the beliefs. It can have more of an effect on that person. A body determining how you behave. This could be the body even ruling over the mind, wanting more, and maybe even being ruled by that body and those cravings of the body. It's more than just a craving, which is Mars. It's a need with the moon. So it's like the body needs this thing, and it can rule over the higher thoughts, Jupiter. But also used in a positive way. It's a body sense of spirituality. It's like you can feel in a spiritual place, in a state of ecstasy when you're moving the body. For example, utilizing dance or yoga as a form to connect, a way to connect to these states of mind, this state of peace, to achieve it using the body. And it doesn't have to be yoga or dance. It could be art, you know, utilizing your hands to create art. I also like to associate Odin with Jupiter. I know that he's connected to Mercury, definitely Mercury in the sense of seeking knowledge. You know, he sacrificed his eye to obtain this knowledge, to get a drink from the fountain of knowledge, the waters of knowledge, the waters of the tree of life. He sacrificed his eye, Jupiter. This is sacrifice in order to obtain that knowledge. And I'm thinking Mercury, it rules Gemini, it rules Virgo. Sometimes these are double-bodied signs, double-natured, and sometimes you can see the other sign in this. So with Gemini, you can see a little Sagittarius, and with Virgo, you can see a little bit of Pisces, which are both ruled by Jupiter. I think his journey was also double-bodied as well. I think Odin started as a Mercury, and then after he made the sacrifice, he obtained the knowledge. He became a wise man, Jupiter. And he also became the father of kings. He traveled the world to learn from different cultures. He learned about magical principles as well, all Jupiter things. I think his adventure, his journey, his quest, he started as a Mercury and then he became a Jupiter. According to principles that even existed in the past. You know, these are not new thoughts. We're all recycling thoughts of the past, where they lived life with meaning. You know, they devoted themselves to certain practices, certain behaviors, and in their mind believed. You know, does that belief actually make a big difference? That inner alignment that I'm talking about is just where you feel at peace and you feel comfortable and you feel safe. That happy place. This is where we grow. This is where we heal. This is where we find that insight. So I try to create that structure even for myself. And I've seen, especially with a chronic pain and injury, something that you're carrying with you all the time, it's not like you can, you know, there's chaos on the outside and then you come home just to shield yourself from that chaos. The chaos is within the body when you have all this pain. So it's like you have to learn how to just be with the pain, be with the chaos at all times. So the ritual, the knowing that, well, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do this, and it's going to fulfill some sort of peace within me. You know, I'm listening to my own inner compass and it's telling me to move and behave in this way. And I'm listening. You know, that is the alignment when you're listening. Thank you. And don't forget to like the video. Bye.